It was a grim day on planet Earth. There were lightning storms. There were volcanoes. There were earthquakes. And then, just as a huge firestorm was about to be rained down on the terrified and helpless masses below, as if by magic, the shopkeeper appeared. "Having fun, Mr. Ben?" said the shopkeeper. "I certainly am," replied Mr. Ben. "You know, it never ceases to amaze me how, every time I try on a new costume from your magical costume shop, I always find myself magically transported into some fantasy adventure in some parallel universe. I really should have tried this god costume on before." "Got many worshippers yet?" asked the shopkeeper. "You bet I have," said Mr. Ben. "Admittedly, it was a bit slow at first, but as soon as I started drowning them and setting them on fire and smiting them this way and that, you'd be amazed how quickly they started worshipping me." "You do realize they're probably all sycophants," said the shopkeeper. "Yep. They're probably all sick of frogs and locusts too. The wicked things I've smited these people with you wouldn't believe. Out of love, of course. And the things I've had them doing. I've had them cutting off their own foreskins. I've had them stoning their own children. Yeah, I've even made slavery acceptable." "Oh, come now," said the shopkeeper. "You stole those ideas from the Bible." Mr. Ben chuckled. "You know," said Mr. Ben, "there was this one guy earlier who fell down a mountain."
A light breeze, the mortal enemy of the stick man.
Anyway, so he fell down this mountain, and it took 15 men 8 hours to rescue him. And guess who he thanked when it was all over? "You?" said the shopkeeper. "Yeah, me! I had nothing to do with it. I just sat back and watched the whole thing. You know what really made me laugh, though? The 15 guys who sweated their guts out to save him. They thanked me as well. I mean, I didn't lift a finger. This is the easiest job in the world. In fact, I could be zillions of miles away, sunning myself under the rays of Arcturus, and these people would still be thanking me for the stuff that happens here." "Seems you're quite a natural at this god malarkey," said the shopkeeper. "You seen anything of the devil?" "Indeed I have," replied Mr. Ben. "I was actually chatting with him earlier about a very successful, wealthy follower that I have. The devil thinks that this guy only loves me because his life is so blessed. Joe, I think his name is." "You mean Job," corrected the shopkeeper. "Nope, I'm sure it was Joe. This is a parallel universe, remember. But anyway, to prove his point, the devil wanted me to allow him to ruin this guy's business and kill all of his 10 kids. "And I suppose you let him," said the shopkeeper. "Are you kidding? I told him to f*** off," replied Mr. Ben. "I'm not that easily hoodwinked. All he wanted was a legitimate excuse to cause mayhem, and I certainly don't need any help in that department. Besides, why do I, in the role of God, need to prove anything to some poxy fallen angel?" "Good point," remarked the shopkeeper. "If only the God of the Bible thought the same way." "Well, I think you've had quite enough fun in this costume, Mr. Ben," said the shopkeeper. "Time we got you back." "Be right with you," said Mr. Ben. When Mr. Ben turned around, he saw the shopkeeper standing in a large tunnel of cloud. The tunnel transformed, and in mere moments, Mr. Ben found himself back inside the fitting room of the shop. He took one last look at himself in the mirror and got changed. Back inside the shop, Mr. Ben thanked the shopkeeper and was just about to leave when the shopkeeper handed him a brown cloth bag. "What's in the bag?" inquired Mr. Ben. "Oh, just a few mementos to remind you of the God you've been imitating all of this time." "Oh, how can I ever thank you?" said Mr. Ben. "Well, you could start by actually hiring one of these costumes now and again. I mean, you come swanning in here every week, you try on a new costume, you have a marvellous adventure, and then you just sod off home." "Funny you should say that," said Mr. Ben, "but I've been thinking of hiring that ghost costume over there." The shopkeeper looked puzzled. "Ghost costume? We don't have a Oh, ghost costume! Yeah, that's a ghost costume." "Oh, that is excellent," said Mr. Ben. "That'll be just perfect for Mr. and Mrs. Brown's Halloween party next week. I bet they'd just love to see me in that." "I bet they would," replied the shopkeeper. "Thanks again. Bye." "Good day, sir." Oh, I almost forgot. I have a little something for you too, added Mr. Ben, who reached into his pocket and pulled out a rock. Mr. Ben threw the rock at the shopkeeper. That's what you get for being open on the Sabbath, explained Mr. Ben. But it's Saturday, replied the shopkeeper. Well, I'm Jewish, on my dad's second cousin's girlfriend's side. No wonder it's taking you so long to actually think of hiring one of these costumes, the shopkeeper muttered. I resemble that antiseptic remark, said Mr. Ben. Is that it, then? Said the shopkeeper. You're not going to actually stone me to death as the Bible commands? Mr. Ben chuckled and left the shop. As Mr. Ben arrived back home, he stopped outside his front gate and took a quick peek inside the bag that the shopkeeper had given him. Foreskins? Exclaimed Mr. Ben. It's a bag of foreskins! Foreskins! Said Mr. Ben to a nearby child. Same to you, with knobs on, replied the child. No knobs on these, said Mr. Ben. Just foreskins. Mr. Ben looked disappointed. Well, this really is not what I was expecting. Why couldn't it be a bag of magic fruit from a magic fruit tree? Or a talking snake? Damn, I'd have even settled for a pair of God's old wrestling shoes from the time when he fought Jacob. He only used them once, and he lost that match. I mean, even the honey scraped by Samson from the rotting carcass of a lion would have been better than this. If it was a good enough gift for Samson's parents, it would have been good enough for me. Yeah, I mean, what about a lovingly designed bunch of golden hemorrhoids like the Ekronites made as a gift for God? Or a golden calf? Or perhaps not a golden calf. But no, what do I get? Bloody foreskins. Literally, bloody foreskins. Oh well, I suppose they did form an important part of the Jews' covenant with God, and for that reason I will keep them, just to remind me of all of those incomplete knobs, and the complete knob who invented all of these dumb rules. What the hell? Boo!